LP on the track.
Alright guys, it's Friday morning and I've put the time in here in Columbia. Took the money out. Now I'm headed back to Memphis. 5 hours, get back to my cash flow. So, let's get it. So we are about 90 days in at this point, and we've made tremendous strides in terms of renovating this building. We've had to replace the roof, not only on this building, but also on another address. And I think it came out very good. With everything we're doing to put this building together in the best possible way that we can, it only made sense to just eliminate the leaking roof. All right, so it's Saturday morning and I'm just now really getting settled back in. I didn't get a chance to make my end of the week didn't get a chance to log the progress, do my end of the week log video, so I want to get down here this morning and get that done. There are a few specific things that I do want to take a look at this morning. One is to see if the plumber actually got that tub installed, because I really need to know if I need to order a second tub. We got about a 2-week lag time on getting these tubs in, so that's just going to delay things even more. The other thing is, it has come to my attention that the plumber wants to be paid, so I really need to see if this tub is in. First of all, of course, we're not going to pay him till we get both the tubs in and make sure they're all installed, make sure they're all not leaking. Otherwise, this guy doesn't seem to have any incentive to get his work done. So we, at this point, definitely cannot let the money get ahead of the work. So the other thing is, I want to get a clear update on what these electricians have done, just to see what kind of progress they've made with installing the outside meter and breaker boxes. Third thing is see what kind of progress the AC guys have made. So this is one of the jacuzzi style tubs that we like to place in these units. The residents really seem to like them. We do have some heavy residents in the Memphis area, and so rather than continuing to deal with that flimsy stand that comes with these tubs, we had the carpenter actually build a stand out of wood. So what I'm actually doing right now is just going through and taking an inventory just to see how the sheetrock looks and just see what kind of progress has been made since I've been away. So one of the things you have to make sure of when you talk about placing line sets, you have to, or when you're talking about placing air handlers before these guys close the sheetrock, one of the things you want to do is make sure that your ducts are all accessible, and it looks like they are downstairs. We actually had a little bit of room in the attic, so we actually ran a few ducts through the attics and the upstairs units and brought them down through the ceilings, but that's just not feasible with the design that we have. This 1975 design that we have, when it comes to placing vents on the vents in the downstairs units, going through the ceiling, coming out through the ceiling is just really not going to be an option. There's just not enough space to do that. So all right, So if you notice over my head, you can see the ceilings are pretty bare. So it still looks like we've got quite a bit of sheetrock work left to do at this point. All right, so there's some guys behind me that are working on the vehicle, which is one of the things we really don't like here at the property, but it's been really difficult to police that. That's just unfortunately one of those things we've been having to live with. It's not that bad when they're just doing something like tire work, like it seems like these guys are doing. I don't know, it looks like maybe a brake job actually, but at least there are no liquids and fluids and oil and that sort of thing involved. You know, I've seen people do what looks like a damn major transmission job right here in the parking lot. But anyway, so I did have a chance to take a look at the tub inside the unit. All right, so we're back live here. Oh man, got a little sheetrock mud on my boots, but anyway, I hope this is not too loud. I hope you guys can hear what I'm saying with this. So it looks like the plumber did get the tub installed to check to see if it was leaking. If you recall, we still had the tub at the opposite end of this building that was leaking, and we didn't have one on site, so we actually had to end up ordering a tub, which is gonna take 2 weeks to get in. It has come to my attention, though, that the plumber has requested a check from the office manager to get paid for all the units except the one that's not done. And you talk about a third up front and a third for the completion of the rough-in inspection. So he's under the impression that we're gonna hold back a third of $2,000, comes out to be like $666, whatever that, whatever fraction that comes out to be. But my concern about doing that in this particular case is it seems like when I have paid the plumber in the past, he has not wanted to come back and do the work. So what I don't want to happen is I don't want to pay him for all of these units and then come back when the tub gets in and he doesn't want to come in a timely manner in order to place that tub. He's already delayed this project now for more than a week, or more than a month actually. Just to kind of put things into perspective, the last plumber I had was doing the rough-in. It took him about a day to do one rough-in unit. By the time this tub gets here, we're going to be 11 weeks in. So it has taken him on average more than a week to complete each unit. So, I'm just having a hard time justifying rewarding that sort of performance. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to talk to Marcus about today. As I mentioned before, it's always good to put an agenda together when you have an important phone call to make, just so nothing gets skipped over. You put some thought and foresight into your conversation. It makes it a more effective conversation, and it saves you time in the long run. So let's just give him a call and see what he has to say.
Hello.
Hey Marcus, it's Lemuel Oliver. How's it going?
Man, just fine. How about yourself?
Doing well. So I got your message. I wanted to call you back.
I was trying to check with you on a couple things. One was, nobody. I guess I was trying to notify you to double check with you. See, the one didn't let you know that the other tub was good, right? And it's full of water and everything's good on it, right?
Well, no, he didn't. But Warren is not the plumber. But continue.
Yeah, I called and I texted or whatever, and I said, well, maybe when he talked to one, I called and text and everything, but I never did hear from you or whatever.
Okay.
I thought about it yesterday, and I never did hear from you. Then I thought about it again this morning.
No, I hadn't talked to anybody. As a matter of fact, I got to town about 12:30 last night. Took care of some things, and I came down this morning and took a look around for myself, and I see the tub is in place, and I see it's not leaking, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I was one, cause I called yesterday, but cause I got to thinking about it or whatever. Cause once you came up with the plan of just doing that one or whatever, and all right, so now the question I was gonna ask you was on the next draw on the check or whatever else on the next draw. You had to order another tub for the number one. You had to order a tub. So, but everything is done, I guess, and how I was going to get that one inspected or looked at, because it wasn't going to be no big deal, was because he looked at everything and put it on there. It was once I installed a new one, I was just going to, take the pictures and do the video of it and let them and see that it's done. Everything else was done except there's that one tub or whatever. So y'all still could do walls and everything on that. So that was the only thing. So I was trying to see was I clear to go ahead and pick up a check or whatever else from this from the inspections and everything. That's what I was trying to find out.
Okay. Well, unlike most people you probably deal with from the paperwork that we went over when we started this job, I like to pay contractors. Normally in my world, when I do that, that means I have reached a milestone. I've made some real progress, and I'm ready to move forward. So I like to write checks normally for this sort of thing. However, we run into a problem. You realize it's going to be another 2 weeks before the tub gets in.
Okay.
Yep. And I also don't know if you realize, but we're 9 weeks in. Yesterday, actually Thursday, made 9 weeks that we've been trying to get this rough end plumbing done. Did you realize that?
Not to that extent of that many days on it, but
and by the time the tub gets in, we're gonna be at 11 weeks. I mean, we're looking at 3 months to get the rough end plumbing done. And I don't have a lot to go by. The last guy, the last plumber, he came and got rough ends done, and he was doing about a unit a day. Now, I'm not trying to hold you to his standard, but 1 unit a day as opposed to less than 1 unit a week, that timetable that's a wide variation in that timetable. What are your thoughts on that?
One of the other things was that the tubs, we had to do a different kind of rough end because he was able to go ahead and put those tubs in and use them versus we had to redo the rough end for those toilets as well. We had to bust up for that, which once they got done and everything. And that was one of the things they inspected. So we had to take all that into consideration as well. But like I said, okay, just explain to me what is your, what's the thought pattern? What's the process from here on out? Just explain to me what's the process from here on out.
Well, I really don't know. I mean, that's going to be up to you. Like I said on the front end, I gave you a third of this money to try to come get us knocked on out, so you wouldn't have to go out hunting work, looking for work, trying to get that done. It was 2 weeks before you showed up. It was 2 weeks. I didn't hear from you for 2 weeks, and now you got it done, and I'm glad, and I really appreciate that, and and I'm happy with it. It looks good. But now,
we're another 2 weeks before the tub. I mean, we've been delayed a month, you know. And I don't know if you noticed, but I held the AC guys off for about a week, 2 weeks, trying to wait. And quite frankly, if we had just gotten a tub installed, we would have known it was leaking. We could have went ahead and ordered it. We could have had it here, and you could have been done by now. That's just the reality of it. So I'm trying to hold my guys back a little bit. You know, we had some hiccups on our end too. Don't get me wrong, but now the air handlers are in. I would really have liked to get, to have made a little more progress with the sheetrock before they put those air handlers in. But, that's neither here nor there, I guess. But my concern about writing you the check, Marcus, is this. I don't have any assurance that you're going to come back in a timely manner to just go ahead and get this tub installed. I mean, I don't have any assurance or confidence in that at all.
Okay, so.
All right, so finally had a discussion with the plumber, and he is aware that there's not going to be any check forthcoming until we get this last tub installed. That's just the reality of it. So, I didn't get a whole lot of pushback on that. That's all he needed to know. That's all I needed to tell him. So, that's that. What we'll do now is just take a walk around upstairs, see what kind of progress these guys have made up here. Oh man, yeah, okay. Alright, so no air handler upstairs yet. Nice. So I'm pretty much just noticing in the upstairs units the same thing as in the downstairs units, just trying to get a sense of the progression of work in terms of closing the walls. You can kind of get a sense of what it is that I'm noticing with this shot. It's real easy to get impatient while you're waiting to get sheetrock work done. It is just a slow process. It has to be done primarily by hand, and unless you've got several crews going, this part of the process just requires a ton of patience. If you have the budget for it, it's probably worth just going ahead and getting some professional sheetrock guys in. I think they just work faster, and probably at the end of the day, it will save you time and also money. Because remember, there is a time value associated with money. There's demo work that needs to be done in a couple of these units. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You can start to see now where some of these ceilings are still pretty bare, and we just got a lot of sheetrock work left to do. But the good thing is we don't have anything holding us back. All of our rough-in electrical and plumbing is done. Our line sets are in place. If you're able to sheetrock inside the utility closets before the air handlers get set, that'll just help cut down on rodent problems later on, especially when you're dealing with a 10-unit building like this. I'm here and it's a Saturday, and I'm actually having to go through and open all of the doors myself. This is one reason why I don't like to come and do walkthroughs on the weekends. Normally when the carpenters and everyone is there working, I can simply walk through without having to go through trying to open all these doors. Alright, cool. Alright, well, so it looks like we're clear to at least close the walls. You can just go ahead and get the carpenters on there. Brian. Still got to get these air handlers installed upstairs, so I don't know if the company's want to start in these utility closets. You may need to go ahead and button up the utility closets. That may be the thing to do. That way they're not having to try to sheetrock around those air handlers once they're in place. So I think that will speed things along in the long run. I got to talk to Warren about that and see what his thoughts would be on that though. So all in all, we're at a milestone. The rough-in plumbing is done and the electrical is done. Air handlers are getting put in place, so we're free to go ahead and just close all the sheetrock. That's a huge step, so I'm happy about that. So I'm glad I had a chance to get down here and get this done, or just make the decision to go ahead and put the time and effort and energy into putting something like this together. Maybe it'll help someone somewhere along the way, because I know how it was when I first started. I didn't know anything about construction, so I actually went to a live event to get a better understanding of how rehabs and renovations go. And it wasn't apartments, it was actually buy, fix, and sell, flipping houses. And attending that event gave me a lot of insight into how things go from doing rough-in plumbing, rough-in electrical, the AC work. Just being able to see that stuff kind of gave me a whole new perspective. Dealing with contractors, seeing what their environment is like. I had no idea. I just never really been around or grew up around construction guys. So having the ability to see this sort of thing up close makes you a more well-rounded investor, is what I would say. So